Packed Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No kicks.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Monday, everybody. May 10th. How about it? I tell you what, this is legitimate too. If you'd have told me, you said 2 months ago, so 2 months ago, May, back to April, back to, is it February, January, February, March 10th, you say, listen, Baylor baseball, May 10th, will be a 2 seed in the national tournament. They'll be a trajectory to be top 3 in the Big 12 and have a chance to vie for maybe out there in the deep realm having a big-time postseason seed. I'd have said, look, come on, man. You really think so? Well, I know so now. That's what's happening. Hayden Kettler joins the show to tell us what is happening, because Hayden, you guys are about as hot as it gets, and I don't know if anybody in the national media saw this coming.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that's kind of how baseball rolls. You go through streaks where you're playing really well, and baseball is very contagious. So from a hitting and a pitching perspective, when some guys are doing good, it seems like the whole team's doing good, and we're on one of those stretches right now. And so we had a bye week last week, and there's kind of some worries that maybe we would come out a little rusty, but I think we kind of slammed the door on that narrative, and we showed up, and our offense was just absolutely insane this weekend. And so I really like where we're at. I think our guys are locked in, and we have eyes on the postseason, and so we're just trying to play good baseball until that comes, and then at the end of the day, if you're playing your best baseball down the stretch, that's all that matters.
Hayden, that was a big question. That 10-day stretch where you guys go without playing a single game, do they stay hot? Are you guys able to keep the bats warm? And that was proven with 17 runs. You said, look, we're going to make up for that all that time off by scoring 17 in game one and then coming back and scoring another 23 on Sunday. What was the mantra in that 10 days off? Obviously, you want to rest, but you want to stay ready.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, obviously we had finals, so guys were, focusing up on school, getting school over with. But I think everybody was just itching to get back on the field. We had a good week of practice, even though it was sort of limited. But like I said, I mean, baseball is one of those things. It's like it's contagious. Like when you're playing good, everyone seems to be playing good, and like the mojo around the team is so positive. And so we just we knew that was going to be a question mark coming back from a 10-day rest, but we wanted to make sure that we just were up for the task and ready to come back and just not miss a beat from where we left off.
Hayden, I've asked all the players that we've had on this, as well as the coaches when it comes to baseball, and that what I love going back and referencing is that UTRGV series. And I'm sure that's been bulletin board material for you guys most of this season. You get the call, I think it was like 48 hours before the series, that, hey, we're going down, and we're going down soon to play a random series, doubleheader Sunday, one game on Monday, just about as sporadic as you can get a baseball series. What was the preparation like for that series, if any at all?
Well, yeah, it was definitely different than what we're used to. If I can remember, that was the week of the ice week. And so basically for the past 7 or 8 days, we've been practicing inside, which not just us. I mean, a lot of the teams around this area had to deal with the same thing. But yeah, we knew we had a home series. I think it was versus Jacksonville State. And so we were really excited about kicking off the season at home. And then as it got closer and closer, we started to realize that the chances of us being able to play were, getting slim. And so coach just made sure that we stayed ready and didn't really think about the upcoming weekend. We just wanted to have a good day of practice each day. And then obviously it was 36 hours before the first game, we got the call that we were going to be driving down south and playing on the road versus a team that we had not really been scouting, which for their sake, I mean, it was the same thing for them. They didn't realize they were going to play us. So it was definitely unique, and it's not how you would like to draw up the first weekend of the season, but I think it was a learning curve for everybody, and just kind of showed us that this is how this year may be with COVID and the pandemic, and obviously weather and whatnot. So it didn't go our way, and from a win-loss standpoint, but I think it definitely taught our team a lot and told us that, we need to be flexible, and we need to be ready to go whenever we're called. And so that's just kind of something that we learned from that.
Hayden, I look at a team like Auburn this season who has really, they started off the year poorly and never recovered. It was as if they started losing games early, and at no point did it just click for the team. They've just stayed really in the doldrums of the SEC. You guys are up 8-0 against UTRGV, lose that game 2, 9-8, and then fall 7-4 in the next one. At any point in time, the team could have said, all right, look, let's pack the bags on the season. There are a lot of teams, like I just mentioned, Auburn. You lose the first couple of games and things never really recollect. How? How did this team go from losing 2 out of 3 against UTRGV to now winning 4 straight Big 12 series?
Well, I mean, it says a lot about the resiliency of the team and the coaches and how they stay honest to compete and to just look positively. And I think we've got like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 fifth-year seniors on the team. And one of the things we told the younger guys early in the season was, we've never played a full season at Baylor and not made it to the postseason. And so, including myself, I mean, I'm here in my 5th year, and my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, we made the postseason each year. And then obviously senior year was cut short. And so we came back. And so, I mean, we told them that, look, like we know what it takes to get to the postseason. We're not out by any means. Don't start to think that this is just a waste of a season. Like, you put your head down and you start working and we win games. Like, all it takes is win one game at a time. And all of a sudden we start to put together a little run, and next thing you know, we're right in the mix of things. And so I think just having a bunch of veteran leadership on the team has been able to kind of just like keep the guys that haven't really been to the postseason yet in line and say, look, like, every team's going to go through a stage where, we're not playing well, but at the end of the day, my sophomore, junior year, we put together streaks where we won 15, 16 in a row. And so that's just something that I think having guys on the team that have been to the postseason and seen what it takes and whatnot, just, it's really helped everybody kind of click and stay together and have the end goal in mind, but while also taking it one game at a time.
Hayden, I'm not sure if your answer changes, but the same kind of thing happens. You start the season not exactly how you'd like to, and then moving into Big 12 play, there's that win streak. You go on against some of the non-conference opponents. You hit Big 12 play, and folks are asking, all right, is this a fluke? The team's won a bunch of these games in a row, but is it a fluke? Big 12 play starts 1 win, 5 losses in those first 2 series, and folks think, all right, here it is. Baylor predicted 8th in the preseason of the Big 12. That's probably where they'll end up landing. When did it click for the team? Hey, I know we're 1-5, but we're about to turn the ship around.
Well, I don't want to say it clicked at TCU because that was just an all-around bad weekend for the team. But I think TCU going on the road and getting it handed to us 3 games in a row, it really sparked a fire under at least myself and several of the other guys that are in the position that, we've made the postseason every year they've been here. And so going there on the road to our rival school and losing in dominant fashion 3 games in a row, it kind of said, look, all right, like, we either change this thing and we turn this thing around right now, or we're not going to be in the postseason where we all want to be. And so we really just, you have to, it's hard to look at the postseason, to look at the bigger picture when you start 1-5 in conference play. But the whole mindset was that, like, everyone knows we want to be here. Everyone knows what it takes to get there. And if you think about it like, oh, we got to win 4 or 5 series in a row, that doesn't seem as attainable as, all right, we just got to win this game. We got to win this series. And so taking it 1 series at a time, and I think having guys just play loose and relax, it's allowed us to really, like, reach that new level, and the level that I think this team is truly capable of playing every weekend.
Hayden, you obviously hit that level, and you guys now with the 4 straight Big 12 series victories. I want to take you back, though, to even before UTRGV, before the TCU Texas series, all the way back to the season canceled in 2020. Being a senior, I mean, you had already started 4 games that year. You're getting into a groove. Season's pulled out from under you, and at this point, you've got a decision to make. What went into deciding to come back to Baylor and giving this program 1 more year?
Well, I mean, I wasn't ready to stop playing baseball was the biggest thing. But, I think it's whenever I was recruited to Baylor, Coach Rodriguez and his staff, we were their first recruiting class. So my class of 2016 graduating high school was the first class that they recruited to Baylor. And one of the things that they told me, and I'm sure that they told some of the other guys, was that they wanted us to be building blocks to the foundation of what they were building. And so whenever they put it in that perspective, it really just made me appreciate and be very humble for how they viewed us as players and what they wanted to do with this program and turn it around. And my parents went to Baylor, so I'm very passionate about Baylor sports. And it was something that I was so excited to be a part of and that I wasn't ready to let go yet. And anytime that if I'm given an extra year of eligibility, it's like almost a no-brainer. Like, I got to use it because this is such an awesome experience to play for Baylor, the school you love, and the fans, and just this entire university and my teammates as well. I mean, there's a lot of guys on the team that are really, really talented, and they hadn't been able to experience a full season yet. And I wanted to be able to, ride that ship with them and kind of like mentor them and like get them ready, because those guys below us are really good, and they can take this program to the next step. And so I think all great teams have veteran leadership. And I think it was just something that not only myself, but several others, Andy Thomas, Jimmy Winston, Luke Boyd, and company, we just wanted to be a part of. And we wanted to be able to just mentor these guys while also helping the team. And just like Coach said, being those building blocks for what they wanted to build.
Hayden, I love that you mentioned coming in and helping out the younger guys on the team, because we talked about it with our last guest, Max Garner, who was an all Big 12 pitcher 10 years ago for Baylor in that 2012 run, that you got guys like Andy Thomas that are almost 30, and then a guy like Cam that went out on Saturday who's, 17 or something like that. So when you mesh those older guys with a bunch of younger guys, it's really that senior-laden pitching staff with the younger bats. How well has that connected? How interconnected are you guys this season with such an age gap in a lot of different spots on this team?
Well, given the circumstances, given the fact that, like you said, we got guys that are pushing 30, and then we got guys who, just started driving a couple years ago. It's definitely you come in, and there's definitely some there's just different parts about, the way we talk, the way we, approach life, the way we do school, obviously the way we play baseball. But all those things kind of go away once the season starts, and you realize, these are my teammates, these are my best friends. And so we've created this really awesome bond, and it's going to be weird to think that I'm going to be leaving next year and these guys still have 4 more years or 3 more years here. And but no, one of the things that I think comes into play is whenever you have guys that are young and guys that are asked to step into a spot and a role pretty early in their career, one of the things that I know happens with a lot of people is people are not afraid, but they look at the competition, and they look at the Big 12 players that they're going to be going up against, and they've been watching them on TV for 2 or 3 years. And so myself, when I got here, I remember playing against schools like Tech or Texas or TCU and seeing these guys on their rosters playing Omaha from my couch in high school like 2 years ago, and now I'm pitching against them. And so you start to question yourself deep down, like, am I ready for this? Or like, can I be on the same level as these guys? But the question, or the answer to that, is that absolutely, that's why you're here. And so when I was able to learn that my freshman year and kind of like break out of my shell and realize that I belonged here just like everyone else, I think I was able to take that next step. And so I've been trying to tell the young guys, and so have all my other veteran teammates, that look, like, you're just as capable and you're on the same level as all these guys in the Big 12, whether they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. Like, you're here for a reason. They're there for a reason. And when you grew up in high school, you played really good competition, and all those guys went on to go play at Big 12 schools or SEC schools. And so it's not like you're playing anyone different. You are just older now. And so that's another one of those things I wanted to go back to about the being able to come back and be better in leadership. That's something that it's hard to get yourself to believe in, that you're on the same level, you're ready to play at whatever competition is presented in front of you, even as a freshman, a 17 or 18-year-old. But I think we've meshed really well, and it's been a great mix of young guys and old guys.
Hayden, along with that, and some of those younger bats and what they've been able to put together this season, from a starting pitcher's standpoint, there are a lot of these games. I'll tell you, I am surprised pretty typically when the bats don't put up 4 or 5 runs in the first couple of innings, especially in these conference games, in this conference run. For you as a starting pitcher, How does your confidence boost when you go out there with a 3 or 4 run lead early on in a game?
I mean, it completely changes the game. I'll be honest. I know this last Friday, we got up to, I think we scored 5 or 6 runs in the first 2 innings. And the top half of the first inning, when I went out there to open the game, my thought is that I've got to keep everyone off base, especially no runs. And then as we start to score more runs, and all of a sudden I'm going out there in the 3rd or 4th inning, and we've got a 6 or 7 run lead, my focus turns to, all right, let me just minimize. And if they get a run across, or if they string together a couple hits, that's okay. We've still got a 5, 6, 7 run lead. I just don't want to make this inning a big inning for them. So if I can trade 1 run for 1 out, or 1 run for 2 outs, or 2 runs, whatever it is, as long as we can come out of that inning and still have a comfortable lead, that's all that matters. And so as a pitcher, when you're able to get run support like that, I mean, it takes away basically all the stress that you have in every pitch. I mean, you're sitting there thinking, a good hitter gets out 7 times out of 10. And so at this point, I'm just playing the odds. I'm just going to throw strikes and let them get themselves out. And then if they start to get guys on, then we'll start, picking corners and mixing speeds and trying to, finesse a little bit. But at that point, I mean, we've got a 7 run lead. And so my job is literally just to go out there and throw strikes and get us back to the dugout.
Hayden, you talk about not giving up big innings, and 17-2 final score on Friday. Well, things didn't necessarily go the right way on Saturday, but then you look at the Sunday. It's 6-0. 6-0's a pretty reasonable score going into the 5th inning. I mean, it's not great if you're on the losing end, but it's also not just insurmountable. You know what is insurmountable is 23-0. That's probably a little bit more insurmountable. That inning, 17 runs in 1 inning. From the perspective of a player, you're sitting there obviously you can't play on Sunday, so you're just enjoying the ball game, and it keeps pouring on. There are no outs and 17 runs across. Take me through that half inning as a whole.
Man, I've never been a part of anything like it. It was awesome. I just remember the inning started, and we started with a 6-run lead, 6-0, and everyone in the dugout kind of realized that, okay, since we are on Sunday, a 10-run lead would call for a mercy rule after 7 innings. And so we were kind of thinking like, okay, like we could reasonably get to 10. And I just remember looking up, and we've got like 8 or 9. And the thought process was like, okay, like we could get to 10 this inning. And then it just kept going and going and going. And next thing you know, we've scored 12, 13, 14 runs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how many are we going to score? And then we get to 16 runs, and there's still no outs. And truly, it was something that I don't think could ever happen again. I mean, it was every single hitter in the lineup was coming up and either getting a hit or walking or getting on base somehow. And I mean, it's not like K-State just gave it to us. I mean, guys were getting hits. It wasn't like we were just walking and hit by pitch. Like it was hit after hit after hit. And so, I mean, it was pretty awesome to be a part of that from a dugout. I think in that 1 half inning alone, I think I probably went and got 2 different snacks just because it seemed like time was just going on, and we were still in the same inning.
17 runs, no outs, 1 inning. That was obviously spectacular and a big boost for you guys, I know. I mean, how can you not build confidence and momentum off of that, especially with how well the offense has played? And Hayden, for you, I want to know what you talked about being in the postseason before. And this team has that trajectory to do it again this season and pretty much locking that down as we speak. For you, what gives you the confidence that this team can make a deep postseason run?
I think it's just the ability for multiple guys to play multiple positions. We've got a deep pitching staff. And to be honest, I think the fact that we're dealing with a year where we've got COVID and we've got expanded rosters, it's allowed us to give more guys than usual very meaningful playing time. And that's something that, during the course of the season, you want to get as many guys valuable reps as possible, but you still want to win every game. And so not having that, that comfortable, foot on the gas type feeling where like, okay, we've got a big lead here, or we've got, whatever it is to allow other guys to step in and play. But we've had that multiple times this year. And so we've had several guys get opportunities. We've had a few injuries. We've had obviously some issues with COVID. And so just allowing to get so many different guys valuable playing time has really helped us grow deeper as a team. And so we've got, 4 or 5 really good starting pitchers that we could throw out there in any game to, win a regional or win a super regional. And we've got obviously just a tremendous lineup from top to bottom that can go out there and score 23 runs in a game if needed. So, I think it's just the depth and the versatility of the guys on our team and how they can play multiple positions. And we're perfectly set up for how we want to be going into the postseason. And that's, keeping guys healthy and also getting guys reps and getting guys comfortable and confident.
Hayden, you've been there. You've been in the postseason. You've squared off against teams with a chance to go to super regionals, and you've seen what it takes to win down the stretch to keep a season alive. What does this team have to do to be able to make that postseason run?
Well, I think the biggest thing once we get to postseason, I think that, it's just another game, and it's just another team that we're going to play. And to be honest, playing the Big 12 Conference versus teams like TCU and Texas Tech, those are some of the best teams in the country. So we've got to just go into the postseason whenever we get there and just realize that, okay, these are just another game. It's not a game that is, we've got to do something that we've never done before. We don't need to, hit 5 home runs. We don't need to steal 10 bags. We don't need to make insane plays or make ridiculous pitches. We just need to go out there and play baseball. And I think in the past couple of years, there's been a little bit of not nerve, but just excitement that kind of goes too much over the top. And, I think we just need to relax and play baseball, because at the end of the day, we've been to 3 regionals in the past, and all 3 of those regionals were winnable. And I think that, we obviously came out losing them, but it's not that we got beat. It's that we almost beat ourselves, especially my first year when we went to Houston. I think that everyone on the team would love to have that regional back. And then obviously we go to Stanford and UCLA the past couple of years, and they're wide open. And it's like the team that's playing the most sound baseball wins the regional usually. It's not the team that has the most firepower. That's just how baseball works, is the team that's playing the best baseball all around is going to win the regional, not the team that has, the most draft prospects on the team, or, hits the most home runs or throws the hardest. It's just playing fundamental baseball all around. I've seen teams that are 3 seeds or even 4 seeds make it to the super regionals in Omaha. So it's very doable.
Hayden, before we get you out of here, Bear Games question today. I know we got a lot of excitement for you guys going to the postseason this year, and I heard Coach Rod say it yesterday. It's taking it one game at a time. It's the most cliche thing that there is in sports, but I know that's still the mantra of this team and what you guys are prepared to do, try to make that postseason run, and I'm excited to follow it the entire way. But Marshall Burns tells us you guys have scored now 70 runs combined in your last 5 games, which is unrealistic. 70 runs in 5 games. And that demoralizing 5th inning. Even there are times where as an athlete, you're pouring it on somebody and you almost feel bad. The point where you're like, oh man, this is getting kind of tough. On the flip side of that, our Bear Games question the day-to-day is, what is the most demoralizing loss that you've taken, whether it be as a fan or as a player? Most folks are from a fan perspective that have called in, but one of those you just thought, all right, this went from like, it kind of hurts to this is just sad.
Oh man, that's tough. Well, I think probably the most demoralizing loss that I've been a part of was as a player, and when I was in the game directly, my sophomore year, I gave up, I think, 6 home runs in one game versus Oklahoma State. And I'm never someone that's going to go out there and just like lose confidence in the middle of the game. So Coach, I remember he came and asked me, he's like, after like the 4th home run, I think we were in between innings, and he was like, are you going to lock it in? Like, is that it? And I was like, that's it, Coach. Like from now on, like there's not going to be a batter get on base, much less a home run. And the first batter, of course, takes me deep in the 4th inning or whatever. And then, so I can see the bullpen getting warm, but I still go out for one more batter just to give him time to get in. And of course that guy goes back to back. And at that point I was like, all right, this is not my day. But and I could tell the other team was kind of, I mean, they were having just as much fun as we were yesterday, and so that's probably the most demoralizing loss I've ever experienced as a pitcher.
Wow. Yeah, Hayden, I don't want to rain on your parade either, but I found the box score pretty quickly, and one guy for Oklahoma State, Trevor Boone, had 3 home runs in that one. But hey, so much has changed in 3 years. So much has changed. So you guys are in a great spot to finish in the top half of the Big 12, top 3 even in the Big 12, and move into the postseason. So congratulations for that much. I know it's not over yet, and the congratulations is not in order until this thing's all wrapped up. But it's been a great ride watching you so far, and I'm excited to see these last couple series into postseason play.
Well, thank you so much, Drake. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited that you're able to find time for me on the show. And, let's just hope we can keep this train moving.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Hayden. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
That was Hayden Kettler, the Baylor baseball team, starting pitcher for the old Bears. When we come back from this break, we are joined by Isaac Vander Merva. That's right. Say that 6 times fast. Isaac Vander Merva, men's tennis assistant coach, because his team is headed to the Sweet 16 in Orlando, still dancing in the NCAA postseason. I am Drake Toll, alongside Armstrong Sims, joined today by Marquise Cooley and Hayden Bumpus. When we come back, Isaac Vander Merva. This is Up Tempo.
They're still dancing. Michael Whitson and the Baylor men's tennis team dominated the field in rounds 1 and 2 of the NCAA tournament in Waco over the weekend.